my name is Seunghye Park, and today I'm going to talk about Liszt La Campanella. La Campanella means little bell in Italian, and it was originally composed by Paganini. After Liszt heard Paganini's violin performance, he was so impressed and he wanted to become like him. Liszt learned and researched piano techniques, and eventually he wrote 6 etudes on Paganini's violin pieces, which is nowadays called the Grandest Etudes de Paganini. La Campanella is the third one, and this one is in G sharp minor. This piece is famous by being one of the most difficult pieces in piano music, and I love this music, so I performed a lot when I was in high school, and you can find my piano performances on my YouTube channel when I performed this at the Wigmore Hall or during my high school concert. I also recorded this for my album, The Virtuoso, and I really enjoyed recording it both in audio and for video format. Today I wanted to share some tips on how to play this like a pro with such small hands. I have really small hands and I can barely reach a ninth. And so I thought it would be great to share some of my tips to people who want to learn this piece and want to upgrade their music performance. I hope my video can be helpful, and please leave me some comment and if you want me to show more of the tips on any other pieces. Thank you. By the way, I'm using Budapest edition for all my Liszt pieces, just for reference, but I guess all editions are amazing. I love to use Budapest because they have fingerings that really suit me really well. So on the first page, there are a lot of jumps already after 4 bars. The first tip for all these jumps, big jumps, is that I try to keep my hand position, posture same throughout the whole page, which is this posture position. So and I use this contrary motion where I move my hand, the whole of my hand, in this direction. And as you can see, the thumb performs the melody while the pinky note is just playing this B sharp. So like this. And then the second thing is, when I practice this, I try to put my hand at the right position before I press the notes. For example, I move really fast, and then now I'm ready for this. And then I'm ready for B. Move really fast, and then go to D sharp. So this is to make sure you press the right note and your hand is on the right position. You have to play really slowly. But make sure your arms and your wrist is loose. And for these, you're playing, I'm doing 1 4 1 4 1, but rather than playing like this, my motion is down up, down. So it's in one motion, and much easier. After you're confident with these jumps, big jumps, I would maybe phrase in every bar, and then if you're confident with that, maybe every 2 bars, every 4 bars. For example, for this music, it's 4 bar phrase. is one phrase. So when you're confident with all these big jumps, this is one phrase. And also it's really important to imagine and sing along the melody while you perform it, so it doesn't become static or vertical with just techniques, because you have to actually sing the melody, right? Make sure your thumb sings the melody, and maybe it is important to not miss these, but still they're not really important. They're just like accompaniment. So don't worry too much if you miss, but maybe you should focus more on your thumb. So the melody sings. The next difficult part is the repetition from bar 50. Here. So with these repetitions, lists use a lot of repetitions in different pieces as well. And what I would recommend is to accent the first note. For example, so just try this. Because if you press the hammer really slow or with this part of your finger, then it comes really late. But if you play with the tip, so imagine you play a really short staccato, a spiccato. And when you have four consecutive notes, then your fourth finger should be the loudest. And your motion of your wrist should be down to up. There are scales, a lot of consecutive scales, chromatic scales, from bar 73, which makes it really difficult. So for these, I would recommend you to play really lightly. Don't try to force your wrist or your hand to play it loud, because it's in piano. First of all, it's in piano, the dynamics. And also, if you force too much on your wrist, then it becomes really tiring. So you won't be able to play the whole 2 pages, which is full of scales, turns, and later on it's gonna be tremolos and trills. So I would definitely recommend you to play really lightly and try to maybe use your wrist a lot rather than playing rather than just using fingers. Use your wrist. So when you have these turns, I will use my wrist. And there's a hairpin, a crescendo, which makes you to help to move forward, and also crescendo, so you can use your wrist here in the top of the voice, top of the scale. Yeah. So this is the high point, and you should play it loud. So it is okay to use your wrist. And then when you have full of turns, like I would use a lot of my wrist. wrist. It says quasi cadenza, which means like cadenza. So you can actually slow down when you're on the peak. And then go faster and faster. When you reach this point, I would shake my wrist a little bit rather than just, because this part is so chromatic, so it's really difficult to just use your fingers. But if you use your wrist and shake a little bit, then it makes more momentum and it's much easier if you use less finger. So I would definitely use the wrist for these two pages. The next part is I use 3-5 for the trills, because for me the fourth finger is like the weakest finger, so I get really tired, so I use 3-5. The last one are the octaves. Here, I normally practice two voices separately, like, and then to make sure my hand position is on the right place. For the bass, I use 3 and 4 together. I have more space on my finger, so because black keys are much narrower than the white keys. It's much difficult, so I make sure that I play the right notes with my 2 fingers. I think about it as one motion. So 1, down, up, down, up. And I believe that all 4 notes are really important. G sharp, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp. But for me, I think the most important one are the 8 notes. So and as it goes faster, it's really difficult to hear these. So I make sure that I play the bass notes correctly. So also my body leans on the G sharp, the bass note. So I get the bass note right, because basically the G sharp is almost like a pedal note for the whole 4 bars. So I will make sure that I play the G sharp, the bass, correctly. For this piece, it is really important to practice very slowly and make sure you understand and you play all the techniques in the right position. And always check that your body or your arm, your hands are not tiring at all, because if it gets tiring and if you feel uncomfortable performing it, that means something's not going well and you should really stop practicing and relax. Since it's an etude and it's really difficult, you can easily over practice and make your body feel bad. So I recommend you to practice slowly and then speed up a little bit, step by step, using a metronome, and don't force yourself to a higher speed. Please watch my YouTube videos on this piano performance if you're curious on how I performed. And please let me know if you need more tips if you have any other pieces that you want me to share my tips. And yeah, even you have small hands, you can still play Liszt. And Liszt is my favorite composer. I played a lot of Liszt pieces, and there are some tips and tricks that you can use even your hands are small. So please let me know. Thank you. Bye.